Out of the 10 remaining cities in the United States
that have survived the zombie apocalypse,
Lewis and I will be starting in Niagara Falls, New York.
And if things don't go well, our alternate location is Boston, Massachusetts.
So the question is, do we stay in Niagara Falls or do we immigrate to Boston?
Here are some of the advantages of Niagara Falls. The absolute location of Niagara Falls is 43 degrees north and 79 degrees west. It is on the border between Ontario, Canada, and New York State, United States, and links the two regions via the Rainbow Bridge.
Niagara Falls is located in the northeast region of the United States, characterized by a wide range of climates, an ethnically diverse population, a highly industrial economy, and a strong liberal threshold.
The average temperature is 47.55 degrees Fahrenheit, so it is not too cold in the city. Precipitation, relative to Miami, is small at 34.92 inches, which in turn results in less bad weather. The Niagara Falls and the Niagara River provide fresh water in addition to fish such as the smallmouth bass and the rainbow trout, so we have both a steady water and food supply. There is also an abundance of materials such as sand, gravel, and stone, which are building materials we can use to construct forts. Since the materials are natural, it will camouflage with the rest of the waterfall surroundings should we build a fort there, and would protect us against raiders. The Appalachian Mountains are 350 miles away from Niagara Falls, which protect us against incoming zombies from New York. If necessary, we can travel up and down the Niagara River instead of walking or biking. There's also the Allegheny National Forest,
133 miles away from Niagara Falls,
which would be hard to traverse, but if absolutely necessary, would make a safe refuge as few zombies would be able to enter to a forest. However, there are no doubt some disadvantages to staying at Niagara Falls. It is an urban area, and an urban area will attract more zombies than a rural area. Niagara Falls has an unbelievably high crime rate. 6.7% of people in the city are criminals. It is only safer than 2% of cities in the USA. And a person living there has a 1 in 16 chance of becoming a victim of a crime. This could create distractions that could get in the way of protecting ourselves against the undead, and would increase the chance of fort raiders, creating even more problems for us. The roads are not filled with lanes, and it doesn't look like many trucks pass through this area. This means that we might not have much food aside from fish and plant leaves. If we do need to flee, we may have to pass through the Appalachian Mountains or the Allegheny National Forest, both of which would be difficult to traverse. Even worse, Zombie-infested Toronto is 82 miles away. New York City is 357 miles away.
and Buffalo is a mere 19 miles away.
Which could mean that Niagara Falls' status as one of the 10 surviving cities might not stay for long. The 77 inches of annual snowfall would bring cold weather that would be hard to get used to for us Miamians. The snowfall itself might make it difficult to move if we need to leave the area.
Now here are some advantages to moving to Boston, our alternate location, whose absolute location is at 42 degrees north and 71 degrees west. The city touches the Atlantic Ocean, and its average temperature is 51.4 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 4 more degrees Fahrenheit than Niagara Falls. Like Niagara Falls, Boston is located in the northeast region of the United States. However, at 43.76 inches of annual precipitation, Boston's annual precipitation is about 9 more inches than that of Niagara Falls. The cold weather and lack of rain relative to Miami is something that us Miamians could get used to. The Charles River is about 22 minutes away from the center of Boston, providing us fresh water and freshwater fish. Boston's fertile soil will help us grow plants that we would need for survival. Materials found in Boston, like sand, gravel, marble, and granite, can be used to construct forts, like in Niagara Falls. If necessary, peat, an abundant resource in Massachusetts, which is about 30% decomposed plant material, could be used as an energy source. 46% of Boston is rural, and rural areas are great for hiding from zombies, as the creatures are attracted to urban areas like Niagara Falls. Although Boston is no safe city, as it is only safer than 12% of other towns in the United States, with its people at a 1 to 30 risk of becoming a victim of a crime, it is at least much safer than the deadly Niagara Falls. The roads of Boston seem wide enough to accommodate trucks, which means we have a greater chance of receiving a wide variety of foods, unlike in Niagara Falls. As previously mentioned, Charles River provides us with fresh water, and we could receive an even greater variety of fish by heading to Cape Cod Bay, which is about 68 miles away from the center of Boston. The Appalachian Mountains, which are about 93 miles away from Boston, would protect us from zombies coming up north from New York, since zombies cannot traverse through such landforms. In fact, even moving from Niagara Falls to Boston is easy. It would take about a day and 21 hours if we were to bike there. And the closest we'll get to the zombies of New York City is in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, a good 139 miles away. Despite all these benefits to moving to Boston, there are no doubt some drawbacks in doing so. Boston is not that far from Springfield, Massachusetts, which may host zombies. The population, at about 654,413 people, and the population density, at about 13,224 people per square mile, would make it hard for us to establish our own camp, although we could establish it in a less crowded rural location. The roads being wide and easy for walkers to move through and the town being filled with people also brings another disadvantage. We will be more likely to be spotted by raiders who may want to steal our resources. Even though the Appalachian Mountains protect us against the zombies of New York, if we need to escape Boston in any circumstance, it would be hard to traverse through them, with some of the mountains reaching well over 2,500 feet high. Boston is highly susceptible to hurricanes, flooding, but somewhat susceptible to earthquakes. Hurricane and flooding warnings usually come a while before they hit land, so we would have time to bike to the Appalachian Mountains and seek refuge there. Although earthquakes come unexpectedly, they may not do much harm in a rural area, the area we will likely be camping in, as much as it would do in an urban area. If some of those three natural disasters occur and we survive them, we would obtain a benefit. The destruction and loss of life that would result from those disasters would make zombies turn away from Boston, as it would no longer be a worthy target for zombies to encroach upon. So now the important question comes. Should we stay in Niagara Falls, or should we immigrate to Boston? Well, the President of the United States is soon going to announce which of the two locations, Boston or Niagara Falls, would be best not only for Lewis and I, but for all the survivors of the zombie apocalypse who are close to both areas.